Hey guys, Sliders here with a review of Super Return of the Jedi, released for the Super Nintendo in 1994, developed by LucasArts and published by JVC. Super Return of the Jedi concludes the original Star Wars trilogy, with Luke Skywalker, now a Jedi Knight, on a quest to stop the Empire once and for all, and ending the tyrannical rule of Emperor Palpatine. The game does a good job of staying faithful to its source material, as you start by rescuing Han Solo from Jabba the Hutt on Tatooine, to fighting the good fight with the Ewoks on Endor, and finally destroying the second Death Star. There are some deviations, such as Luke fighting his way through the Death Star, but hey, it's an action game, there's nothing wrong with some embellishment. Super Return of the Jedi shows a marked improvement in the graphics department, while still retaining the series' trademark of colourful backgrounds and well-animated character sprites. Everything looks sharper and more crisp. Whether it be Luke's lightsaber or the vehicle stages, the visuals have been tightened up. Speaking of the vehicle levels, the developers have once again employed Most 7 graphics to achieve a quasi 3D look, and while these stages lack the open-endedness of previous installments in favour of a more linear approach, this helps to give the visuals more polish and provide some of the best looking presentations seen on the Super Nintendo. Whizzing through the forests on Endor on your speeder bike taking down stormtroopers is incredibly satisfying and allows the game to shine. In terms of gameplay, there are also a number of improvements. As a fully fledged Jedi Knight, Luke has access to his force powers from the start, but with only 5 instead of 9, which makes for a more controlled playing experience. The side-scrolling levels offer more variety with a more open-ended nature, rewarding players for exploration with hidden items like health swords. The simple point A to point B formula has been mixed up a bit, and requires more than simply moving forward, such as having to scale the cliffs of Jabba's palace or Luke's Endor levels. You have to think where to go next and how to get there. I really like it when games don't hold you by the hand, forcing you to employ some lateral thinking about how to progress. As a result, each level has a surprising amount of depth to it. Furthermore, the game throws in some brawler mechanics where you're confronted with a screen full of enemies and only letting you move forward when all the enemies have been defeated, indicated by a flashing red arrow, giving the game a double dragon-like feel to it. In addition to the regulars like Luke Skywalker, Han Solo and Chewbacca, for the first time Leia is a playable character and has several different guises: bounty hunter, slave outfit and rebel attire, each with different characteristics. While the bounty hunter and slave outfit make use of melee weapons in the form of the staff and whip, Leia switches to a blaster in her rebel uniform while playing as her on Endor. Speaking of Endor, you also get the chance to play as Wicket the Ewok, darting past stormtroopers in all his cuteness. Wicket's levels harken back to traditional platforming, jumping across treetops and using his arrows as temporary platforms to climb up trees. It's a welcome change of pace to the more frantic sections of the game. It's just a shame there's only 2 levels of Ewok goodness. Thankfully, Super Return of the Jedi has toned down its difficulty, so while it no longer features the insane throw the game out the window difficulty that Super Empire Strikes Back did, it is still a challenging game and completing it will take some real skill as a gamer. The password system from Empire is still in place, so with the right codes you can start wherever you want. Paul Webb returns for the final time as the game's composer, with superb arrangements of the classic John Williams score. I really wish you could buy the music from the Super Star Wars Trilogy, as it is some of the most faithfully reproduced music I've ever heard in a video game. Now, onto some things I didn't like. With the exception of the Millennium Falcon stage, the most 7 levels are too linear for my liking. For narrative reasons, it makes sense that they are structured in this way, but it's disappointing as you can only move in one direction, instead of the 360-degree view you experienced in previous installments. Darth Vader appears as a mini-boss, and fighting him is exactly the same as it was in Super Empire Strikes Back. He even has the exact same animations, from his jump to his fighting stance. It's as if the developers just cut his character from Empire and pasted him right into Jedi. There's no variation in battle, which strikes me as sheer laziness. However, I have to save the biggest criticism till last. The final level is nigh on impossible and is perhaps the most difficult level in video game history. That may sound like an exaggeration, but it's true. Escaping from the Death Star and the Millennium Falcon is unbelievably frustrating. It's made worse since the Falcon has hypersensitive controls which constantly bounce you off the walls, compounded by the fact that you are trying to outrun an explosion. You are in for one bumpy ride. Make sure you have stockpiled lives since you are going to need them, as it's very likely you'll end up with barely any left. Nonetheless, with all that aside, Super Return of the Jedi is an excellent game and a more than worthy contender to close out the trilogy. With its toned down difficulty, depth, variety of playable characters and polished presentation, Super Return of the Jedi is the best Super Star Wars game available. The developers addressed criticisms from the previous title and delivered a superb final outing in a galaxy far, far away. Well, that brings us to the end of the Super Star Wars Trilogy review. Thanks so much for watching. If you liked what you saw, remember to give this video a thumbs up and check out the rest of my channel for more video game awesomeness. For updates, follow me on Facebook and Twitter, and until next time, peace out guys.